So just as a foundation, I would say for your listeners to step back for a second and just imagine a person asleep. The brain is not asleep when the person is asleep. The body is a bit cooler. The heart has a little, spark of electricity called an EKG that persists. But inside the skull, the electricity generated by those neurons is wild. It's vibrant. The usage of glucose is active. It's throbbing with activity. So the brain is not asleep when we sleep. And that's important for people to realize that your brain is on a 24-hour cycle. The waking brain and the dreaming brain, usually 2/3 waking, usually 1/3 dreaming. And that there's no period where the brain is off. There's no real period where the brain is resting. And so then your essential question is, what's the dreaming brain like versus the waking brain? And that's the way to understand it. So briefly, the waking brain is really focused outward most of the time. It's primed for that. It's something called executive network, a whole different collection of structures that do reason and logic and pay attention to the outside world. We call it task on. The dreaming brain, that executive network is dampened. So you can have jumps in logic that don't make sense. You can have awkward situations. You can have the illogical, sort of the way you opened up your segment. So that's the first difference in the waking brain and the dreaming brain. The dreaming brain, the executive network is dampened. The other thing that happens in the dreaming brain is the emotional systems and the imaginative network, technically called the default mode network. The imagination network is liberated in the dreaming brain. More so than it can be in our waking brain. And so we have more divergent thoughts. So if we start to see our brain as a 24-hour cycle, like with the Earth's rotation, waking brain, dreaming brain, less logical, more emotional, more imaginative, then we can piece together why dreams feel so different than waking thoughts.